You can take video of this.
So it's a 240 sanding stick?
Yeah, I mean, you can go coarser. It's just, I just grabbed it. It's
Okay.
what I have in my hand. But this little edge here that was in the die, you have to sand down into it, you know. So that's what it would look like. It was kind of, I don't know, you can't really see it on this piece. I can, but not in the camera.
Well, if you compare this one, which
but see how
I've
this
done-
goes down right here?
Yeah.
Right, so to find that on the die, you can kind of see where it would have been on the die.
There's a spot right there. You see it?
I do. Oh, it was an actual hard line.
Yeah.
So
well,
I would take a sanding stick. This might have been a job for files also, but get the sanding stick to see exactly where the edge is, right? So you can see the sanding stick's going to sit right on the high points. Now you see where it goes down, a little nick right there. And you can just angle the sanding stick. I'm sort of tilting it like that, but just sort of favoring that, only with just a little bit of pressure. And I'm going to sand it. This is a 240 sanding stick, but you could use like a, 180 maybe. You don't need a lot, but use whatever seems to be working, and you can go up a higher grit if you wanted to have a better finish. But really, you're trimming this thing out anyway. Even the thing you're trying to get out doesn't actually even matter because you're trimming it off. But if you wanted to get that out for some reason, this is how you would want to do it. And you can angle the sanding stick just ever so slightly. See that little mark right there where my fingernail is?
Yeah.
So if I want to get that out, and again,
that's deep.
This is a dull 240 sanding stick, but this is just mild steel. It's just mild steel. So
just go like that.
It just comes right out. Yeah, it's highly machinable steel. It'll you can sand it right. You can even take files and do this, but the wide face of the sanding stick will result in more even cuts. You're not going to dig it up and cut it up like you do with a sanding disc. So if I do this, you can see how much you cut it up with that sanding disc.
Yeah.
Do you see all those?
Yep. Sure
Those are all dig marks, and it's also like a wasted effort because you didn't need to be out here. So the sanding stick just can get right down in that little shoulder, and also not make dig marks. So get this little mark that you were trying to get. It's important not to get into the edge of the actual pattern because then you're gonna make it irregular. But
where do you get sanding sticks?
These I bought. You can buy them. You can make your own. You can just cut strips of sandpaper and stick them to a painting stick. The nice thing about these, this is an auto fry product. I don't know if other people sell these, but they have, it's like sticky notes.
Oh.
You peel them off and I think there's like 8 layers or something. They're a little pricey, but there's multiple layers, so you're getting a lot. So I pay for these, I pay a little bit of a premium because they're really good for making chasing tools. So I always have them around. But you can just if you're just using it for this once in a while, you can just make a sanding stick. Just get a stick, paint stick, and use a spray adhesive or, a glue stick or whatever. Double-side tape is good too, and you can just make your own sanding stick with sandpaper, which most of us kind of have around. If you're a metalsmith, you're going to have sandpaper around. So just glue it to something, make your own sanding stick. Whoa, but do you see what I mean? How it's just evenly, even if I want to get that little mark, there's a little mark there, you see it? Let's see, and this is like all worn off too, so you can see how easily the steel will cut, which is the nice thing about these, because these are, he gets them out at a really reasonable price, and believe me, steel is not cheap right now. The price has almost doubled. So the fact that he can even still do this right now is, he's doing good. He knows what he's doing.
Okay.
You could run this hundreds and hundreds of times. It's never going to deform the way that you're using it. So this is a great tool. So see, now that's really out, and it's all blended. It's nice and smooth. And if I had done this whole thing like that, those little cut marks that you got with the wheel, the sanding disc wouldn't be there, and you could easily get in there. You could even, if you had it, you could even do it with a piece of sandpaper. So here's another way to do that. This is actually just like multi-purpose 400 sandpaper. You could have even just done this. I don't even think this is metal sandpaper, but it'll work. You could just do this. This might even have been more practical. Like I said, you just have to be careful not to get into the edge of the design, because then you're going to really mess up your die and you're going to end up buying another one. The sanding stick allows you to stay on a flat plane, but if you need to kind of roll in a little bit or kind of manipulate contour, then having sandpaper against one of your fingers is a good way to do that. See that? I mean, it's not chewing gum. You have to do a little bit of work, but you can get these out.
Okay. Thank you, Liza.
Sure.